All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at the true, unfiltered story of America's most decorated World War II soldier, Audie Murphy. And we're going to start right at the fiery climax of his life. But I promise you, the battle you think you know, it's really only half the story. The actual history here is a cinematic journey of sheer survival, hidden trauma, and honestly incredible inspiration. Let's get into it. I want you to picture this exact moment. It's January 1945. A 19-year-old kid who's already wounded is standing completely alone on top of a burning, disabled M10 tank destroyer. He's got no backup, no cover, just the biting winter cold of the Colmar pocket, pierced by the absolute deafening roar of enemy armor. He's literally holding off 6 German tanks and an entire company of roughly 250 enemy soldiers with nothing but a .50 caliber machine gun and sheer willpower. He is totally out of options, and yet, he doesn't run. So it begs the question, how exactly did a dirt-poor kid from rural Texas end up making what is arguably the most unbelievable stand of World War II? Well, to understand the hero of that moment, we have to rewind. We have to look back at a childhood defined by pure, relentless survival, just to figure out where on earth that kind of grit actually came from. Section 1. The Texas Cotton Fields. We're going to skip the battlefield for just a moment and start our story in Kingston, Texas, in 1925. Because this is where Audie's legendary grit was actually forged. You see, Audie was born into grinding, unimaginable poverty. He was one of 12 kids belonging to a sharecropper. They didn't even own the dirt they farmed. He actually had to drop out of school by the 5th grade to do a grown man's labor out under that harsh Texas sun picking cotton just to put food on the table. He didn't get a normal childhood, you know? He was working for absolute pennies just to survive the season. And then, somehow, things got even harder. His father just walked away from the family. And when Audie was only a teenager, his mother died. Just like that, he had absolutely zero safety net. Suddenly, he's an orphaned teenage boy responsible for raising his younger siblings, right smack in the middle of the Great Depression. He learned real early on that running away from hard things, that simply wasn't an option. He just had to push through, no matter the cost. Which brings us to the next chapter, rejected by the military. Let's look at how that intense survival instinct built directly into his military career. A career which, astonishingly enough, almost ended before it even began. 5'5", maybe 110 pounds soaking wet. When World War II broke out, that is all Audie Murphy measured up to. Talk about an unlikely hero, right? Honestly, he looked way more like a school kid than a soldier getting ready to deploy. And because of his size, he was repeatedly turned away. The Marines rejected him. The paratroopers, they said no too. Most people would take that as a pretty clear sign to just pack it up and go home. But not Audie. His stubborn persistence kept him pushing and pushing until he finally got his foot in the Army's door. And get this, even then, they doubted him so much they almost kept him off the front lines entirely. History came incredibly close to losing this whole story before it even started. Section 3. The Colmar Pocket Stand. Because that exact persistence, that absolute refusal to take no for an answer, that's what ultimately led him to the freezing, snow-covered woods of Holtzwihr, France in January 1945. I really want you to let this sink in as we break down the tactical reality of his ultimate stand. When this massive German assault hit, Audie actually ordered his outgunned men to fall back. He sent them to a safer position. Then, he climbs onto a burning, disabled M10 tank destroyer, completely alone. For a full hour, he manned its machine gun, fighting off advancing tanks and infantry. He even used a field telephone to call in artillery strikes dangerously close to his own position, just to break the enemy lines. It was an absolute masterpiece of calm amidst total chaos. And so, the kid who was repeatedly told he was too small ended up wearing practically every single combat award the United States military offers, alongside some hugely prestigious decorations from France and Belgium too. He officially became the single most decorated American combat soldier of World War II. Unbelievable. But now we hit our next section, Hollywood and hidden trauma. Because if we just stop at the medals and the battlefield heroics, we are missing the most crucial part of this explainer. What came next nearly destroyed him. Look, on the outside, Audie was living the ultimate American dream. He was this massive celebrity movie star. He was literally on the cover of Life magazine, starring in dozens of films. But internally, he was fighting a terrifying, nameless battle. Back then, society just brushed it off as shell shock or battle fatigue and basically expected veterans to just, shake it off. But Audie couldn't just shake off that level of trauma. This invisible war he was fighting was agonizing. He suffered from severe insomnia. He famously slept with a loaded pistol right under his pillow, which is just a tragic testament to the hypervigilance of a mind that never fully believed the danger was actually over. He battled crippling panic attacks, along with severe financial and marital strains, all entirely out of the public eye. Which brings us to a different kind of bravery. And honestly, this is an act of courage that is, in many ways, arguably greater than climbing onto that burning tank in the first place. As the ultimate symbol of American fearlessness, Audie stood up and told the entire country that the war was still hurting him. He admitted to depression and nightmares in an era when that was heavily, heavily taboo, when it was basically stigmatized as sheer weakness. By speaking out, he completely shattered the silence around veterans' mental health. He became one of the very first prominent voices to acknowledge what soldiers actually carry home with them. But tragically, a life defined by surviving the impossible ended very suddenly. In May 1971, Audie Murphy was killed in a small plane crash in Virginia during some really poor weather. He was only 45 years old. It abruptly cut short what was an incredibly complex, deeply heroic journey. He was buried with full military honors. And here's something really powerful. To this day, Audie Murphy's gravesite remains the second most visited site at Arlington National Cemetery, right behind President John F. Kennedy's. It's just a silent, enduring testament to his legacy. Ultimately, his story proves that heroism and struggle can totally live in the same person at the exact same time. Real life is never clean, is it? We love these simple stories of heroes who win medals and live happily ever after. But Audie's life shows us that the strongest-looking people, they often carry the absolute heaviest burdens, and they usually carry them in silence. So I'll leave you with this. If the most decorated soldier in history fought his hardest battles in absolute secret, whose true story are we reducing to a single sentence? Think about that the next time you read a simple summary in a history book. There are entire lives full of pain, courage, and immense complexity behind those dry facts. Keep exploring the unfiltered human truth behind our legends, because understanding their real struggles, that's exactly what makes their achievements so genuinely extraordinary.